We have two examples to solve. We have this system of linear equations, and we have this system of linear equations. Let's start with this one over here. Step 1 is to arrange the system by like terms in columns. We could see that this column we have our terms with our x, this column we have our terms with our y, and this column we have our constants. Great. We can skip step 1. It's already done. Step 2, identify any opposite variable terms. Are those opposites? Can we add them or subtract them to get 0? No, we cannot. Can we add or subtract those two terms to get 0? No, we cannot. Right? So what are we going to have to do? We're going to move on to step 3, and we need to create opposites. How can we create opposites? Well, let's go ahead and look at our term with the x. Right? If the term up here was 6x, and the term down here was negative 6x, then we would be able to create opposite terms, or they would be opposite terms, right? So let's go ahead and do that. How would we do that? Well, for equation 1, to make that a 6x, we would multiply it by 2 on both sides of the equal sign. To convert this equation b to have a negative 6x, here's the first term, we would need to multiply both sides of the equal sign by negative 3. Okay. Why don't we go ahead and do that and create our opposites. So I'm multiplying by 2 on both sides of the equal sign in equation 1, and I'm getting 6x plus 8y is equal to 12. Great. Now for equation b, I want a negative 6x there, so I'm going to multiply by negative 3. I'm going to multiply 2x minus 5y is equal to negative 3 times negative 19. Alright, so I'm multiplying both sides of equation b by negative 3, and I get negative 6x plus 15y is equal to, what is that? That's going to be 30 plus 27, so that's 57. Positive 57. Okay. Negative times a negative. Now if we look at our first terms, they are opposites. Okay. So let's go ahead and add these two together. Right. Step 4 is add the two equations together and eliminate the x term. So I'm going to do that by putting my equation b, or my newly found equation b, right down here. Negative 6x plus 15y is equal to 57. What did I do? I took my equation that I just created and I put it right under equation a. Right. So now I'm going to add these two together. 6x minus 6x is 0. 8y plus 15y is 23y is equal to 69. Now I'm going to solve for y by dividing by 23 on both sides of the equal sign. That gives me y is equal to 1, 2, 3. 23 goes into 69 3 times. So I found that my y is equal to 3. Great. Step 4 is done. Step 5 is we find the value of the other variable, the x, by substituting our y into either equation A or equation B. Equation A looks a little easier, so I'm going to substitute my y equals 3 into equation A. Let's do that now. I get 3x plus 4 times 3 is equal to 6. What did I do? I substituted in 3 for y right here in equation A. 3x plus 12 is equal to 6 because I multiplied the 4 and 3. Now I'm going to subtract 12 on both sides of the equal sign, leaving me with 3x is equal to negative 6. Divide by 3 on both sides of the equal sign, and I'm left with x is equal to negative 2. Right? 3 goes into 6 2 times, and negative divided by a positive is negative. So I found my x and my y, and what's my step 6? It's to write my solution as an ordered pair of x comma y. So I'm going to go ahead and write my solution as -2, 3, and put a box around it. Let's go ahead and try example number 3. Okay. What am I going to do? Well, step 1 is arrange the system by like terms in columns. Right? How can I do that? Well, you can see this column here. Are they like terms? No, they are not. We have x in the top term, we have y in the bottom term. These two terms here are not like terms, and these two are. Right? So what do we need to do in order to get the terms to be the same in each column? We need to move this 3x to the left side of the equal sign. Right? So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides of equation B. Okay? And I'm going to be left with -3x plus 5y is equal to -21. Now in my equation B, my x term is the first term on the left side of the equal sign. My y term is the next one on the left side of the equal sign. And my constant is on the right side of the equal sign. Alright, so what are we going to do now? We're going to now move on to step 2 and check, are there opposite variable terms? Well, can we add these two together to get 0? No, we cannot. Can we add these two together to get 0? No, we cannot. But we can subtract them, right? 5y minus 5y equals 0. So let's go ahead and use subtraction and subtract equation A from this newly found equation B. Alright, so I'm going to write equation A right down here below equation B. I'm going to do a 2x plus 5y is equal to -11. And what I'm going to do with these two equations is I'm going to subtract each of the terms. Right? So -3x minus 2x, since the signs are the same, we're going to add them and get 5x, and we will keep the sign negative. 5y minus 5y, right? Since the signs are different, we have addition, subtraction. We're going to subtract, and that leaves us with 0. Right? 5y minus 5y is 0. So is equal to, and then we have -21 minus a -11. We have negative, which turns this to positive. So it's -21 plus 11. Alright, signs are different, negative and positive. So we're going to subtract and keep the sign of the bigger number. Right? When we subtract, we get 10. And the sign of the bigger number is negative, so it's going to be -10. Alright, so now if we solve for x, we go ahead and divide both sides by -5, and we get x is equal to +2. Great, we found x. Now we're moving on to step 5. Step 5 is find the value of the other variable by substituting. So I'm going to take this 2, x is equal to 2, and I get substituted into the first equation or the second equation. It doesn't matter. I'm going to substitute it into the second equation because that looks a little easier to solve. So let's go ahead and rewrite that second equation. It's 5y is equal to 3 times 2 minus 21. What did I do? I took the 2 that I found that x is equal to, and I substituted it in for x in equation B. Alright, let's go ahead now and solve for y. We're going to say 5y is equal to 6 minus 21. We'll combine our like terms. 5y is equal to -15, right? We have a positive and a negative, so we take 21 minus 6 is 15, and we keep the sign of the bigger number, -15. Now to solve for y, we divide by 5 on both sides of the equal sign, and we'll get y is equal to -3. So we found x to be 2 and y to be -3 is our solution to the system of equations, and our final step is to write our solution as an ordered pair of x, y. So our x is 2 and our y is -3, and that is where these two graphs or lines meet at 2, -3.